Welcome to this week's Horror Debate. I am Jeff Rowdy Jake here, and sitting with me is Michael Mandy.
And this week we're going to be reviewing William Friedkin's The Exorcist.
Wow. I mean, this flick, I mean, who hasn't heard of The Exorcist, number one? And number two, what kind of psychological impact did this movie have on people when this thing was released?
Oh, the late 70s, everybody had to see this movie. This movie freaked out everybody in America and probably overseas and in the world. Like you said, everybody has heard of the movie The Exorcist.
Well, I avoided it. Okay, I avoided it. When I was a kid, you know, my mom was deep into the horror movies, man, but she didn't even like The Exorcist. She said it was just, you know, too weird and just disgusting. And I was like, you know, as I grew older, I was like, wait, that could be kind of cool. Wait, I got to go back and check that out. And as soon as I did watch it front to back, man, I realized kind of what all the hype was about. I mean, it is definitely still, to this day, one of the most disturbing movies created, and for good reason. I mean, that just, again, much like we spoke about in another review, everything just kind of seemed to come together with this movie.
Well, this was actually a very large budget film, which is unusual for Hollywood, because usually horror movies are made by smaller companies and smaller budgets, but this was a big budget event. And the thing about this film is, in today's world, if you haven't seen it by now, you're probably going to look at it. Because of the pop culture, it has become part of our public consciousness. Whenever anyone throws up, they think about pea soup. Whenever anyone's head, you know, I'm going to turn your head around, and the whole, you know, tongue and the crucifix. Everyone knows about the scenes levitating over the bed. Everyone has seen the picture of the priest staring up and the light shining down through the fog. The picture, and so it's got so much hype behind it. If you haven't seen it already, you're probably going to watch it and go, boy, this movie is really slow. It starts out really
slow. And I felt
slow.
that. We just rewatched it, as you remember, and
Right.
I didn't remember it being that slow. And I think it was because I was probably too freaked out to, like, look at the TV most of the time. But honestly, you know, I was sitting there, like, falling asleep through part of it. But at the same time, the parts that are there with the you know, the actual demon, you know, are very effective, and they'll sure wake you up, man, if you're starting to fall asleep in the other parts.
It's very much as a contrast to the slow beginning.
Absolutely.
But yeah, today's audiences, I think they might say, you know what, you could have trimmed about 20 minutes off at the beginning and picked up the pace. I think that's just the way people are nowadays. I mean, the thing about this film that made it significant, I mean, come on, audiences freaked out everywhere. The child, she was swearing up a blue streak. You didn't see kids curse like that. And this movie, you got to admit, it would have been different if it was a boy child. It wouldn't have had the same impact. I mean, seeing these horrible things happening to a little innocent girl. And they sure made a point that she was a girl with the whole crucifix thing. But, I mean, you just didn't go there. These things were taboos, and this film assaulted you with taboos.
Well, we should probably just break down the plot real quick as to what's happening. So,
Father Karras discovers some ancient little evil rock stone thing in the Iraq desert at an archaeological dig, and for some strange reason, which they never really explain, why the devil decides to rise, reappear, and go after this little girl who's in Washington, D.C., the daughter of a famous actress.
It's obvious because the devil foresaw that she was going to date Rick Springfield.
Linda Blair.
Yeah. No.
You know, you would think that he would go after the president. I think he already has. But
yeah, absolutely. So,
he was in Washington. Why not?
Yeah, right. Well, you know, and again, they re-released this one. You know, when was that? In the '90s, sometimes the version that you've never seen.
The part with the spider walk scene.
Yeah, basically putting back in the spider walk scene and some other stuff.
And also a little coda at the end of it of the priest that survives talking to the police chief.
Yep. Digitally remastered, looks great. I mean, the DVD of the version that we've now seen, but that we've never seen, is, you know, it looks fantastic. The sound is definitely effective. I wouldn't say it's something to show off your home theater with, though, honestly. I mean, I think the original film was probably damaged enough to where they didn't really spend a lot of time, you know, fixing this thing up. They kind of put it out. You know, here, you know what you're getting, right?
Also on the version you never seen, they also added a few little superimposed little death head scenes at a scary part.
That.
If you look, wait, what did I just see there?
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
just added a little creepiness.
And I didn't like that so much.
No, because it was too obvious.
They took it. I thought it took away from the original movie. I mean, I don't like it when they take the original that was made in 70-something, and somewhere down the line in the 1990s, they go, hey, now we got these digital effects.
Let's update it.
Yeah, let's screw this movie up.
Yeah,
you know,
let's let's do like George Lucas did to Star Wars.
Right, exactly, which I didn't like either. So
thank God they're re-releasing the originals again.
Yeah, well,
just in time for Christmas.
Well, maybe they'll do The Exorcist just in time for Christmas too, or something.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, I mean, as far as movies go, and as far as this type of flick, I mean, there's nothing more effective. I don't care what you watch. Than The Exorcist. This is the movie that made everybody just gawk in horror, man, and that's what this is all about.
Oh yeah, and Linda Blair was great. She was amazing. The makeup was and on the extras on the DVD, they have a little making of where they talk in interviews about, and the director just put them through hell, literally.
Yeah.
To get all the effects, the bed bouncing up and down, and the pulling of the actress with the rope behind to smack her into the wall, Ellen Bernstein, and
yeah.
But
well, and this movie, I think when they repackaged it, they decided to go ahead and put Exorcist 2 and 3 in a box set with it. I'm still not sure that's a good thing. Because
avoid part 2 and 3.
I remember part 2, and I don't even think we need to review that.
No, and we're not, because I don't want to sit through it again. It was bad enough.
Yeah, but you can get the box set, and but you can also buy it separately, and that's what I recommend you do. Check it out.
The strength of this movie spawned 4 bad movies. None of them were any good. Part 2 was no good. Part 3 was no good. And even Part 4, they filmed it twice.
Right.
And neither of them was any good.
And with how many directors? I mean, it was...
Yeah, 2. Well, you get Renee Harlan near anything, and you just lost money.
Right, there you go. Yeah. There you go. So absolutely, no doubt about it. If you're one of like the 2 people who haven't seen this movie, go check it out.
Yeah, everyone needs to see this movie at least once.
This is a buy. This is an absolute buy. I mean, if you don't rent The Exorcist, you buy The Exorcist. That's my opinion.
Well, I think if you've never seen it before, you're going to think it's kind of paced slow at the beginning, and I don't know if you'd want to revisit it. You'd probably just want to see it once and see what all the hype was about.
Yeah, but it's all about collection for me,
Everything is in your collection,
Everything's
Jeff.
in my collection. That's okay. But, my opinion is, this is a movie that if you're a horror nut, you already own, and if you don't, you're not really a horror nut. End of story.
And like I said, everyone needs to see The Exorcist at least once in their life.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff. We'll see you next week at the Horror Debate.